So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology. Galaxy A52 unboxings and first impressions. Now this phone can be had for around £399 or for US around $369. It's going to become officially available in the US here shortly. A72, not much more, but we'll cover that one separately. You can see I went with the awesome white color, Samsung on the front. I couldn't get this warranty sticker off, but you can see right here Galaxy A52. On the back, no real specs, but you probably heard enough about this. And then down here you will see the awesome white 128 gigabytes right here. So not too much in the way of specs on this box. We'll go ahead and cut this off here, these seals, and we'll get into the box because it's not really that interesting, the box there. So let's go ahead and open this up. And you could see Samsung Galaxy A52 right there. And I could say just on first impressions, they did a really good job at making this phone look pretty clean this year. And actually kind of looks like a premier phone. You can see right here, Samsung Galaxy A52, Infinity O display, a quad camera with a 64 megapixel and OIS, and a big deal here, IP67. So an IP rating this year for the budget A series device. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else comes in the box. So right here, it looks like we do have ourselves a USB-C cable. So that's nice to see coming with this. We'll get rid of that. Flew back into the video. We'll go ahead and see this right here. Typical fast charger here, adaptive fast charging for the Samsung Galaxy A52. And then inside here, you should have some warranty guides. Also, let me go ahead and open this up. A SIM card tool. We always like getting those with a new phone. Quick start guides, warranty. You know the drill. We've been doing phones for a while now. Not much to speak of there. Let's get that out of the video. And here is the Samsung Galaxy A52. So let's go ahead and take this plastic off. Now I'm really excited about this phone because I just like the A series. It's just a really good affordable option compared to something like the Galaxy S series of phones, which are going to cost twice as much as these. So let's go ahead and boot this up. First thing I can tell you is it's definitely a plastic device. It doesn't feel super premium, but it also doesn't feel super cheap either. I like the silver rim here on the awesome white color. I was actually going to go with the blue, but they were sold out where I purchased this, so I just decided to go ahead and go with the awesome white. You can see Samsung Galaxy right there. And talking a little bit about the specifications, this one does have a quad camera. On the back, it does have an ultra wide camera as well, a 64 megapixel camera. In addition to that, this one does have a macro camera at 5 megapixels. You can see it right up there for macro shots. In addition, a depth camera down there. So down here, you're gonna get that depth camera for the portrait modes and stuff like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing set up. So we'll hit English for the US here. We'll hit start. And we'll get into this phone. Now, this phone does present you with a really flat screen here on the Galaxy A52. So if you're into flat screens like the S20 FE or even the newer S20s, you're gonna like that. What I'm noticing also is that the bezels are quite a bit thicker than what you're gonna find on the Galaxy S line of phones. So do keep that in mind, quite a bit thicker, but again, this is not gonna bother anybody in this price range. And this phone does feature a 90 Hertz refresh rate here. So you could see definitely pretty decent. And you can definitely see it the minute you take it out of the box. And I believe the US version might have a 120 Hertz and the A72 definitely has the 120 Hertz, but still this is far, far smoother than the A51 ever was. So definitely quite nice there. All right guys, so now that we're in the phone, let's go ahead and take a look at the storage for the Galaxy A52. We'll go ahead and see what this thing comes with out of the box with the One UI installed, so battery and storage. We'll click storage and you can see 19% used right from the get. So 25.46, and then you have pretty much a ton of space available. So that's pretty good. Next, I want to take a look at what does this come with in terms of the software. You'll see that this does come preloaded with Android 11 and One UI 3. So very nice here to see you're on the latest version of Android right out of the box. And you do have One UI 3, which is the latest version as well. Now the A51 does also run the One UI 3, so it's not a major difference in the overall software experience, but man, the A51 actually kind of feels kind of laggy compared to this phone having a 90 Hertz display here. So next up, the quad camera system. So the A51 also had a quad camera system, you could see right there. However, this one is looking a little bit more like the Galaxy S21 Ultra in terms of the looks. I mean, yeah, the S21 Ultra is huge, but you could see how they're trying to go for that similar appeal, that modern look of the S21 line and bringing it down to the A line. This is pretty sweet that you can get a phone that looks this way, because you could easily confuse this with the more premium Samsung phones. So let's go ahead and bring the Lambo in, and we're gonna go ahead and check out this camera right here. So let's open it up, and you'll see looking for photo modes. Over here in more, you will find yourself the macro mode. That's something you won't find in the other S-line phones because they have like telephoto, they have director's view, things like that. This one does give you a macro mode, so you can get really close in on subjects, and it just really depends. Are you the type of person who likes to shoot up close? You'll really like that extra macro camera on here. In addition, if we go back over here, you have single take. You do have the fun mode as well on here. That's pretty nice as well. You can use it for Snapchat lenses. And then if you take a look at the fun nature of this camera. You can go ahead and punch in 2x, 4x, you can go 10x. Just really versatile for this price range. Also, you got that ultra wide, and I could tell you just looking through the lens right here, this looks like it's going to be a pretty great budget camera that's going to satisfy most folks here. You go over here, you can also shoot a 64 megapixel resolution photo. When I see photos like this on the A series, I'm like, why do we even need to buy a flagship phone? These photos are definitely acceptable for a smartphone, but then again, you see the flagship video quality and you're like, okay, well, I see why now. So let's go ahead and take a look at that shot, and you could just see very good overall detail for a phone in this price range. Very nice here. So you're basically getting the fun factor of the S series phones that are way more than this, and the same basic software. Not every single feature is the same, for a much less price. Now if we go to video, this thing maxes out at UHD 30, so it doesn't look like we have the 4K 60. And then you do have a super steady mode as well on here. Very nice. And if we go into settings, you'll see plenty of options in there as well. On the front, you have a 32 megapixel camera here. If we go to full HD, you can do the same video. At least you can do the same video on the front, so you can match up both. You can get pretty creative on here. You can do up to 16:9 1:1 full. So we'll have to take a look at how these photo samples turn out. But right off the get, it's looking like it's going to be pretty acceptable for this price range. Again, you got to remember the context of this phone. Like, this is their budget device, so you cannot expect too much here, but you can also expect it to be pretty darn good, since it is more than some other budget phones. Here's some front-facing video of the Galaxy A52. It's kind of close to me, but you can see it still does the job, especially again for that price point. It does pretty well overall. It looks pretty stable as well, even when I am walking, so not bad. This is fully extended arm though, so you might need a little bit of a longer selfie stick if you want to get a really wide angle on this one. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the wallpapers on this phone. I always do this when I look at new Samsung devices because every Samsung device seems to have different wallpapers on it, and this one's no different. So you can check these out really quickly right here. I think they got a couple here that are also on the A51, but there's a couple that aren't on the A51, such as these down here and this one up here. So very nice overall set of wallpapers, definitely giving it a nice modern feel, modern look. But I gotta say, I'm just impressed with the display as well. The display on this phone is a Super AMOLED, and my first impressions are it's not quite as well calibrated as the S series phones, but still, I mean, really good value. This is definitely good value for money. I think this is going to be, again, a very popular seller for Samsung, hands down. You can see it does have the vivid mode, natural modes, and yeah, you can basically do the same stuff on this phone. You can also go over to the Google page when I do get signed in. You have also a Samsung feature down there as well. You'll have the themes on here. You'll have the widgets, the theme store. We'll talk more about this stuff in the full review. So I wanted to go ahead and give you a few more close-ups of the phone so you can see on the edges. First impressions, not super premium feeling, but they got the look of a premium phone. Look at that, in 2021, you're still getting a headphone jack on this one. Also USB-C, speaker down there. There's also a speaker up here, this is stereo speakers on here. You do have your volume rocker here on the right here, and then you do have the power button right there. A slight camera dip, but it kind of blends in perfectly with the rear. But man, I gotta say though, this plastic on this phone really reminds me of past Samsung when it was really cheap on the back, but at least it looks good, so that's a good thing. Then up at the top you can see you will have a SIM card tray, and this will have micro SD expansion as well. And again, the bezels on this phone quite a bit thicker than you'll find on the more premium device. And you can see that Infinity O. At least the punch hole is very small, just like you'll find on the more premium Samsung phones. And lastly, I just want to give you my thoughts on the battery size. So 4,500 milliamp, this should make for pretty good battery life considering this is not, pushing the most power here on this phone. With a Snapdragon 750G CPU, this is not your 888. This is not going to be super, using too much power, but again, 405 PPI, a 90 Hertz display. What more could you expect for this price range around 360 bucks? This is definitely going to give Apple iPhone SE a run for its money, I think, because you can get a lot in this phone over something like that. A much bigger display, more fun cameras to use, really good overall feel. Yes, it's plastic, but it feels nice, it looks nice. I think Samsung's got a winner on their hands once again, but I'm going to review this more in depth, so stay tuned to the channel, stay subscribed. I should have the A72, thumbs up if you want to see that down below. Let us know if you want to see the A72. But before we head up out of here, let me know what you want to see on this particular phone, and I'm going to go ahead and compare it to last year's A51. So the A51 kind of has a more shiny look on the rear. They both feel like plastic, but this has a smoother feel on the A51. I think the A51 is slightly more comfortable to hold, to be quite honest, mostly because that back feels a little bit more curved. It's like a lighter kind of feel, just a little bit lighter feeling. The A52 feels a slightly bigger, slightly wider, but bigger is better for some people, so they might like this. You can see those fingerprints aren't perfect all the time. Let's compare this to one of their main competitors, I think, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 series. This is the Note 10 Pro, or for some areas, the Note 10 Pro Max. This one definitely quite a bit bigger and heavier. Maybe this will compete better with the A72, but the price point on this is actually cheaper than the Samsung A52. So, there's quite a bit of phones out here like this. And again, we'll take a look at this again next to the Ultra. You can see the S21 Ultra, like $1,000 more than this. It definitely feels $1,000 more, but I don't think many people would think it looks $1,000 more because they look just about the same. So very nice design for the money. But again, when you think about what you're going to pay for this, you can live with some of these sacrifices, or can you not? Let us know down below. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll catch you on the next one. Be sure to stay safe and peace.